Hello everyone, let's learn about eguis today. Ding-ding-ding-ding-bum. So anyways, in the previous video I actually showed you guys what is an egui, but I'm just going to show you guys again so you guys can, see it. So let's just move forward. I actually gave up on the little thing on the scene thing, but let's go to the application here. As you can see, this is our little server, right? Our little quick original server that we're doing. But basically, this guy, as you can see, has kind of like a window inserted into it. Like you can see, he actually has resources, assets, materials, and everything to it. But that's not the GUI. The GUI is this screen, like this little screen that we have here that is like manipulated, right? This is actually another plugin called Bevy Inspector eGUI, which is basically just going to display to us the current entities in our world, in our resources, in our assets, in our materials. And that's pretty much what he's going to do. So first of all, I'm going to show you guys the dependencies required for this guy. So basically, you're going to need these guys. If you're on 0.15 forever references, don't worry about it. We're going to migrate. Well, I'm going to make a video on how to migrate. It's just a simple video. But it's actually really important that you guys see this. So those are the current versions that I'm using. It's probably going to change on the future. Like if you're seeing this video like 3 months from now, these visuals are probably going to be a little bit more updated. But I think the logic itself will not break, as this system is extremely independent for anything from Bevy itself. Okay, so it's pretty much going to remain the same. I'm thinking. I'm pretty sure it's also not going to have extra patches because I don't think there is anything else to add. But yeah, let's move forward. But basically, Bevy GUI, as I said, is the guy who's going to bring up egui, which is a library from Rust that actually builds the screens on like web applications and stuff, to Bevy itself. So he's going to make it more interactable or more Bevy-like, more ECS-like. But Bevy Inspector GUI is the guy who's actually going to actually make us able to have reflect types, and not actually reflect types, but it's going to be able to make us see reflect types, like these resources, these assets, these materials. That's the guy who's going to make us see. Okay. But anyways, let's go to shared itself. Let's try this. Let's try this. Anyways, let's go to egui. Okay, the first egui that I'm going to show you guys is a shared egui, which is going to be the GUI, as we guys know, shared between server and client. Okay, that's the must. Okay. And second of all, let's just try to understand this system, right? First of all, we're going to have a shared GUI. I have a policy. You're going to see on the README of this like repo that I actually make a plugin for everything, and you guys don't get to touch it. Because I like to make things very modular, very Roblox-like. That's why I make a plugin for everything. But anyways, let's just understand this first plugin. The first plugin is pretty simple. It's the GUI plugin for Bevy GUI. Just a plugin that's probably going to run the systems correlated to having the GUI available for Bevy. Okay, so that's pretty much what he does. The second one is the default inspector config plugin, which is a really long name, but it's basically the Bevy inspector like made from crate plugin. This guy actually just makes the simple factor that he grabs everything that is reflected, every single type that is reflected, and he's going to show it to you guys. When I say type, guys, it's really important you guys understand that it's basically like going to be structs and implementations and stuff like that. But usually it's going to be a struct that has a type, that actually has a definition. So he's going to reflect that for us. So anyways, let's go to the inspector UI itself. Okay, so inspector UI is basically the name I gave to my function. Doesn't need to be actually inspector UI. And you can see actually this code on Jacob Hillerman, which is basically this chat of a man right here, on Jacob Hellerman Bevy Inspector GUI crate. As you can see here, it's going to have this a really similar example, which is the manual UI. And you guys probably wondering, why are we going to have a manual UI? Why can't I just use the quick plugin? Pretty simple, because I really want you guys to get into contest and get to understand how you build screens like that, because we are going to be building a lot of those. It's really important you guys understand that. Okay. Anyways, let's move forward. So basically, this is going to be pretty much the same thing as this guy right here. This link's not going to be on the thing because, it's just Google Bevy Inspector, you go to the GitHub. Come on, don't be just that lazy, guys. But anyways, let's move forward. As you can see here, the first thing that's a little scary is the word query. The word query is extremely scary because you don't know what word is, and usually every single example in Bevy doesn't have this guy. So basically, we're doing the word query because it's actually a requirement for Bevy Inspector GUI. Because Word is everything that we have, literally everything we have, every single resource, every single system parameter, system state, everything in Bevy is pretty much made available at Word itself. And you're probably wondering, why the hell am I going to touch this guy? You're never going to touch this guy only here, because usually you are not going to build a complex crate such as Bevy Inspector GUI, which needs to have unlimited access to every single type you actually use on your systems. So probably you're never going to use this guy, but I'm just going to explain to you, it's basically your entire world. Also, if you're not going to build a physics engine like Raper, for example, I don't believe you're going to use this guy. As Raper, I'm pretty sure he creates one of those guys parallel to, the Bevy world, which is just not magic nonsense. Okay. So, anyways, let's move forward. As I said, Word has everything itself, including the windows that we created for our little applications. Like for example, if we have like server, for example, is going to have a window because we actually want to see server for now. Maybe on a later notice, we are going to formulate a headless mode, which is usually ideal for servers. But right now, we're going to see server because, we are beginners now, newbies, right? And basically, this guy is gonna query for primary window. And I know queries are really simple. Queries are basically grabbing information. This is all available on like getting started with Bevy. It's all available in every single examples. I'm not going to enter in detail about this guy because this guy is just everywhere, you guys. Come on, you guys need to study a little bit too. So, but basically, this is the same thing as doing like a query by primary window, which is just going to grab the component egui contest. And you're probably wondering, what is that content, the egui contest? Magic. Feel it like that. It's a magic thing that you can play around with and you can modify it. So basically, that's the same guy you can modify it. Okay, but I can try to explain in detail, but he's just magic. Okay, he's just magic. He's complex. He's nonsense. I don't understand it really good, but he is really not that complex to play around with. Okay, he's really simple to actually alternate. So let's go to egui down window. If you guys want to know more about contest, I would just recommend that you talk to Jacob. He's available on Discord, or you can actually talk to the creator of Bevy GUI itself, which is a Ukrainian. I think he knows by the name Vladobot. So those guys are actually really available and disposed to you guys, and you can actually just contact them and ask questions to them, and they'll pretty much answer like a chat GPT because they are just always online or something like that. But anyways, let's move forward. So basically here we grab this contest, and you can clearly see that we grab this contest for what reason? Basically because we want to adjust this contest. Okay, so basically we want to adjust this contest, and that's basically why we're doing this. But anyways, actually we want to display this contest. That's what I meant to say. But anyways, here we're going to have VGUI, which is from by VGUI itself, okay? And we're going to create a enumeration field called window. We're going to create, no, we're going to, grab the window type for a little GUI, and we're going to add that to him. We're going to add the little, GUI type. We're going to, clarify it. But I don't know how to say this. I'm going to grab it. I'm going to grab the window, right, that we have, and we're going to pretty much create a new window here. So we're basically going to a GUI. We're going to grab an enumeration for GUI called window, and then we're going to run a system called new. And here we're just going to pass the title of that window, which is Word Inspector. As you can see here, let me just go here. As you can see, it's basically this name right here. It's essential that this step is the most important of all, guys, because this step is basically going to create the window for us. So this guy hell of good for us. Okay, so basically this guy has multiple functions associated to it. It has multiple functions. You can customize everything here, basically everything, and I mean everything. Okay, so first of all, this guy is super customizable. This window enumeration field, and second of all, this GUI contains multiple fields, multiple enumerations, each of one corresponding to a scroll area, a title, or header, multiple things that you want to play around with. There is so many I cannot even show it. I cannot even name it, but I'm going to show it to you guys if I can, because I'm pretty sure like, yeah, I'll have to find a definition of it. So you can actually see on Bevy GUI itself like how many fields you have it. I think I'm just going here like Bevy GUI Rust, and we can here, and I'm going to write egui, and you're going to see like the amount of enumerations you can actually have. Let's see here, egui, yeah, and again you got a UI, which is basically like a lot of things, right? So here egui, you're going to have like a lot of enumerations, each one meaning something, and UI is going to be like the user interface inside of that egui, basically the little screen that we have usually. But to be completely honest, we rarely are going to touch like anything more complex to this. We're going to make buttons, of course, like that and stuff like that. But usually you can see it's really simple to query for that. Like it's basically like UI label, hello world, UI button. You have a button now. That's pretty much what it's going to be. And of course, on later examples, I'm going to explain the code for the GUI itself. Okay, so because it's kind of can be a little, dizzying from time to time and scary, but don't worry about it, okay? So default open is basically closed, and it's basically gonna say, so as you can see here, it's just gonna make so our screen doesn't start like this. Why? Because it annoys the shit out of me when it starts like this, and that's why I do it like this. So default open is just going to make it sure that it's closed. Show is basically gonna grab the contents inside that GUI, and basically it's going to give us access to it. So basically we're going to be able to add contents to it. You can see here we actually have that little variable called UI, and we actually can call that UI. You can do UI, the label and stuff like that, and you can see like, hey, you want to have a label here, you can add a label. If you want to have a scroll area, you can have a scroll area. But usually because scroll area is more related to Windows and stuff like that, you're probably going to use on the enumeration egui, okay? Bevy Spectre egui is basically this is just a function inside Bevy Spectre egui to grab everything there is on our world. As you can see, like we can grab display entities, resources, and assets. Okay, that's basically what he does. A collapsing header is basically just like the ability to have like this thing, and it's basically that. And new is materials. Okay, new is the name of it. Is the name of it. And inside of it, we're going to show our assets because usually assets are not really showed on the I'm not sure if they're on the default word inspector plugin. I'm pretty sure they are. I'm not entirely sure though. But you can see the assets that actually you want to see. In this case, you can actually see standard material, and you can see the standard materials that we are using. In this case, I just have the standard material, pretty much something that I probably inherited from one of my many, many GLTF files, which are going to be exposed on a later notice and explained on a later notice. Okay. But that's pretty much it, And actually, you only have one more thing for Bevy Inspector, but you have a lot of fields here. Like I think there is UI for assets, UI for word, UI for states, and yeah, you even for resources you can see here. So if you want to play around this guy and display different things, you can. You can. It's gonna be really good for you. But anyways, here's just waiting for my PR for networking state because we're going to add networking state because it's something from Lightyear itself. I made a PR to so we actually can see it, and to actually see anything they do, it's something that I need to show you guys. You know how we're carrying forward here. We need to make something a little annoying, but I'm going to show you guys live. So first of all, we have the client GUI plugin, which is basically like when we spawn client, we're going to have also like a extra GUI, which is just going to show us like the client itself. As you can see here, it's going to show us the state of client. And we're going to have a little window that's going to show me like what exactly is the state of our client, if he's loading assets, if he's not loading assets. And of course, I'm going to explain to you guys on a later notice. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna take the collapsing header here. I think that it doesn't make yeah, I think it should be just something like this. I'm just gonna modify it to you live because if I don't break, oh my god, if I don't break everything, yeah. But I'm gonna show it to you guys live how you can customize it. It's really easy after you understand it, the basics of it. It's just look at this code for a while, and your brain's gonna do the little macaroni inside of it, and he's probably going to understand this really quickly. So as you can see here, now we can see game. We are on the game state. We can have the loading asset state. We can go back to loading assets. But basically, this guy is going to show me the state of the current app. Okay. And as you can see, he's also default open false. And we're going to make a lot of similar guys to this guy. This guy is available on the repo. I'm not going to explain him because he's pretty much equal to like the previous example I shared. The only thing that differs is that he's using heavy vector UI for state. But anyways, moving forward. Oh, by the way, this is a little weird. I get it. I get this is a little weird. I get why you guys would find this a little weird, but this is basically passing in a type, and this is Word itself, the variable that required for, and this is UI. It's probably something that he did to actually make the syntax sugar for it. Don't worry too much about it. Just follow along. I'm not gonna understand the syntax sugars why he did it like that, but probably because he had a reason. Okay, so let's just do it like that. Okay, guys, don't worry that much about it. It's probably not that important, and it's also not going to be something. It's just like something you need to remind yourself every time you do something like this, just like, oh, you need to use UI, GUI, blah 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 blah. But anyways, let's move forward, okay? I think I'm going to show you guys. Let me just think. Oh yeah, I'm going to show you guys how to actually register a type, okay? So as you can see here, we have this self-made component, right? What is a component? Hell, man, just read the goddamn books and that link in the description, man. If you don't know what a component is, go back to school, okay? But anyways, this is basically a component. As you can see here, we have this marker primary camera component. And if you carry for camera here, you're gonna notice this guy be here, but he doesn't show anything. And also because he doesn't go, oh, I grab a terrible component to have. But let's say I add like a field, like for example, I add like a marker primary camera. You do a little bit of a field here, like called like ID. That is a U8, and I just like pass that ID when I insert here. And now, yeah, just so I can display this example for you guys, okay? And I'm just gonna ID.0, for something like that. And let's say I want to see this field for some reason whatsoever. You're gonna notice that he's not going to be shown to us. You guys gonna be like, what? What the fuck? Why he's not shown to us? God damn it, I hate you. That's usually what's going to happen. But you're going to see here that when we do and grab the entity called main camera, by the way, wait, I'm going to show it to you guys. It's going to give this little thing here. Oh, it's not a register, you goddamn monkey. You're not going to see its fields because it's not a goddamn register, you goddamn monkey. So to actually see the fields itself, you need to do something like this. Yep. You see, it's really easy to see. Register type. And what does it mean, register type? It's basically, register this type of ID here. And you're going to do this marker primary camera, which is our struct, and we're going to register the types inside of our struct. And now, if we rerun this, it's gonna do the magic thing, and this is probably you guys gonna probably see it. They just, compile times in Rust. Oh God, how long they are. Anyways, oh Jesus, I'm not gonna cut it because I'm lazy. Let me just see it, and you guys can see that now we have this ID, and we actually can manipulate it too. So if you want to play around with it, you can actually change it, and actually do stuff with it. And you can go bazooka crazy when it comes to things like that. You can actually make yourself your editor. So that's basically Bevy Inspector egui. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And well, a tip for you guys is abuse the shit out of it. Okay? This is a longer video, but it needs to be understood and needs to be shown. And I never stop talking. Thank you guys. I'll see you on the next part.